Hey guys, Jenn Ferguson here with Artistic Painting Studio. We are going to take this really cute Thankful cutout that we got from Hobby Lobby and turn it into a really cute door hanger. So come join me for some fun. Hey there, we are starting our fun project. This is really a cute font. Like I indicated, I think I found this at Hobby Lobby. You can always check your local store or even check them out online. I tend to buy a lot online as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is base coat in our Bondago Black. This is my favorite paint and primer all in one. And if you have never worked with this before, we always suggest every time you open that jar, make sure that you have thoroughly stirred it. Okay, you're going to find when you open it, if it's sat for any length of time, it's going to be really separated. Okay, I already stirred it before I started this video, so I'm just going to take some more out, put it onto my foam plate, which is always a safe thing for me, that I can put my lids back on and I don't have to worry about anything getting spilt around here, okay? But the Bondago is great. It's a paint and primer all in one. It's going to give us great coverage. It's going to allow us to opaque this in one layer. So when I'm working on wood cutouts, whether they're a wood or a design, I find it's easiest to work with a foam sponge brush because it's going to allow us to keep the paint onto just the top surface. Most of the time when you get one of these, they're laser cut, which means they've got a burn on the outside edge, and it's pretty consistent, so I don't feel there's a need to paint all of that area. So I really just want to get my paint onto the top. So I'm just going to pounce, okay? Pouncing is going to keep it on the top surface and not allow it to get down the edges, and you'll have a little bit of texture, but I really don't think that's a bad thing. It's going to be consistent throughout your whole project, and it just covers, I feel like, the best, because if I start to brush, I'll guarantee you I would end up with some of that brushing over the edge of the cutout. So this will take you about a minute or so. If you have a lot of paint, so I'm only trying to load a little bit of paint on my brush at one time, but if you do end up with a lot of paint, you can always come back with the brush more parallel to your project and soften out any of that extra texture. Okay, so when I'm picking up paint, I'm only picking up a little bit at a time. I'm working it into my sponge as well, and then pouncing it. I don't want it to be really heavy, okay, because that could also cause us to end up with paint down the edges. So as I'm finishing this word out, Bondago is a paint and primer all in one, and we're working on a wood cutout, so we really don't have to have a primer, but there's still a couple of great properties that the Bondago does provide, which we know it will bond to the wood. I love it because it opaques in one coat, and then the way it dries, our foil adhesive does work beautifully over the top of it as well. So even though I really don't need a primer, it's nice to have the Bondago still for all of the properties that it does provide. Okay, I'm just going to put this aside, let it dry. It'll probably take about 30 minutes to an hour. And I do like to let things dry completely before I go to my next project or to my next layer. So once your paint is completely dry, you are going to grab your foil adhesive, and we are using our brand under our Artsville Embellishments. This stuff is absolutely wonderful and great for your foil transfer. I've already taken some out and I put it on what I call my sticky plate. so that I've got a place to work with it. I'm using a foam brush again. I always like to use the foam brush when I'm working with any type of cutout. So this just will help to keep the foil adhesive on the top surface of your project so it does not run down the sides, and the only place we're going to foil is just the top surface. So I'm pouncing it on, and definitely when pouncing you're going to get some texture. If you're not wanting the texture, I still feel pouncing it on gets enough product, because sometimes the foam brushes don't put on enough, but you can lay the brush down a little bit more parallel to the object, okay? And then just pounce again, and it will soften up some of that texture. You can also pounce on and then use your brush and just brush it down a little bit so that you have more of a brush stroke if you prefer that. And since I've started that, I think I'll stick with that technique now. But I do like to pounce it on first, even if I'm going to come back and brush it smooth, just for the fact that if I just brush on with a foam brush, I never seem to get enough product on. Usually I only use these for pouncing, just to make sure I've got enough coverage. If you don't get on a good layer of foil adhesive, you just might not get the tack you need to transfer your foils for the best release. So as you can see, it goes on milky white. Once you have it on the surface, it will dry down in probably about 15-20 minutes, and it will start to go clear and dry to a firm tack. But make sure that you give it at least 30 to 60 minutes of dry time so that you do have a nice, good dried base, okay, to work with. So it's getting to a good, firm, hard tack, okay? So right now, I'm just going to show this to you guys a little bit closer so that you can see that it still looks milky white. I've just got a real soft brush stroke to it, and we're going to let this dry, and then we'll be back for our fun foil transfer. Okay, everybody, our foil adhesive is completely dry and at a nice firm tack. And ready for our foil transfer. So I'm going to put that aside. I picked this gorgeous foil called Copper Bark, and you guys are going to see how much prettier it is than what it really looks like right now, because the carrier sheet on this foil is frosted, so you can't see how pretty it is until you go to transfer. Okay, I'm going to cut off a piece that's going to be long enough for us to do this. And then I'm going to show you guys a little trick to back roll your foils, because this one loves to curl. As you can see, it curled right back up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let me get this thankful out of the way so nothing gets stuck. But I'm just going to back roll the foil so that I have the transfer side exposed. And this helps a lot when you're working by yourself, so that you can control the foil and get it on there, okay? So I'm going to get my project back out. Looks like we had a little something. Okay, a little something was stuck on there. Okay, I was trying to get that removed. Okay, now that I have it this way, I can easily lay it over the surface, okay? And just let it unroll as I go across my project. Oh, so much easier, okay? You'll love that trick. And then I'm going to grab my scrub brush, and we're just going to scrub the surface. Okay, I like my other scrub brush better. I like the shorter bristles. This one has definitely seen its better day. But the short, stiff bristles work great. Also, as you're scrubbing, it will attach to the foil adhesive, so you'll be able to see all the letters or the design elements. So it'll make it easy as you go across. And give it a good scrub, okay? Once you're done, then just start peeling back and go slow so you can check the release as you are removing the carrier sheet, and make sure that you're happy with the foil release. If there's a part that you want to try to scrub a little bit more, just let the foil fall right back down. It should fall right back into place. And you can go back and scrub that one area. Everything is looking absolutely beautiful. Oh, this is such a gorgeous foil. Okay, we're to the end here, okay? So I'm going to lift this up so hopefully the light will reflect and that you guys can see how gorgeous this truly is. Okay, once your foil has been transferred, you can immediately go to your top coat to protect. And we're going to go ahead and use our semi-gloss final coat. And I'm just going to use doing it in a wipe-on technique. So I'm going to grab my sponge and show you guys how to do that. So final coat is designed to be a wipe-on varnish, and our applicator pads are wonderful for the application. So I normally just open the bottle, a little bit of it just pour into the cloth or the sponge, okay? And I don't remove the bottle away. I just literally keep it directly onto the sponge and just tip until I feel like I've got enough in there. I also keep this stored in a Ziploc bag so that I don't have to rinse it out and waste any product. And it's just there ready for me every time I want to use it. If you feel that it's not staying fresh, you can always put that Ziploc bag into the refrigerator, okay? So the final coat will take about, maybe 10 minutes or so to dry, and then you can put on another layer if needed. Isn't this absolutely gorgeous? I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have any questions, just go ahead and put them in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you've had fun watching this really cute project. For a complete list of all materials and supplies, head to the description below, and do us a big favor, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming tutorials.